Video is live.
We're live. All right. This is again the pre-show for those uh, unfortunate enough to come on before all the bugs are worked out of everything. I think we're in good shape though here. All right. Good morning. Welcome to Marketing Over Coffee. I'm John Wall,
I'm Christopher Penn.
and we are preparing for Week 4. Blizzard is the latest thing. I heard some crazy story about us just getting pounded again, like on Tuesday or Wednesday. So.
I suppose we could just start banking all this stuff and have ourselves a really an awesome snow cone stand in, in the summer.
Oh, I did see I think it was Japan, they used, what was it, 3,500 tons of snow and made this giant stormtrooper head in the park as part of a snow festival that they were doing. So we probably need to do a snow festival. I think that's the.
There you go.
But all right, so you had a chance to go to warmer weather, though. You were down in Mountain View on the campus of Google. You know, we talk about them every week, but you were actually got to check out. I saw a tweet or Instagram where you were saying that so many companies maybe have an analytics guy or even an analytics team, but here they have entire buildings.
Yes, they have a brand new analytics building that was really, it was a lot of fun to see it. They have a video studio in-house for making tutorials and stuff, so lots of cool stuff on that front. What was really impressive about Mountain View, the complex there, was you ever go to the food court at a mall and you have lunch and stuff like that? Well, Google feeds its employees for free as part of the, getting them to basically live their entire lives with Google. And the main headquarters cafeteria looks like a mall food court, except that you don't pay for anything, which was in itself was astonishing. I ate at the Japanese restaurant, and what's really funny, if you don't know this about Google, they have their health and wellness teams color code all the foods, all the menu items. Like green, eat as much as you want, it's totally healthy, dinosaur kale salad and stuff. Yellow is okay in moderation. And then red is really bad for you, but it's going to taste good. And what's funny is they actually talk about a company that focuses on analytics. They optimize the food lines so that all the green stuff is up front and plentiful in big bowls and huge servings. It's easy to get to, and the red stuff's like way in the back and tiny little bowls, and it runs out often. So they are actually optimizing their employees.
That's fantastic. Yeah, they're literally, someone's running spreadsheets and being like, we got to cut back on the French fries again. Like the elevators are getting too heavy. We can see we have a problem.
Yeah, so it was really, really cool stuff. Had some great meetings there with a couple of the different product teams and things. So no news to announce publicly on that front yet, but I will say if you get a chance to go there, it's like a nerd Disneyland. I'll say that much.
It's worth checking out. Okay, so but no actionable stuff, no breaking news. Because I think you had said that this was kind of a 101 level stuff that you were doing there, so we weren't expecting to hear anything exciting. But now you do have, you said, a mini rant on the state of SEO, so that's a good transition.
Yeah, so the next day after being at Mountain View, I was at a conference held about stuff about Google, not an official Google event. And there were a lot of folks giving out bad SEO advice. And by bad SEO advice, I mean stuff that was relevant 3 years ago that is no longer relevant today, and just some awfully bad misinformation. So on one panel, there was discussion about how social media will improve your SEO. Well, no. Matt Cutts, the head of web spam and web quality Emeritus, said very blatantly in a video on YouTube last year, social media shares are not accounted for anywhere in the Google algorithm. So just because you tweet it doesn't mean it's going to get picked up at all. And it's certainly not going to help you at all. So there was a lot of that, and then there was another. There was a couple of panelists were asked a question by an audience member. The audience member said, "Well, should I take out some media buys? Should I take out some ad buys? Will that help my SEO?" Now, if you've been listening to Marketing Over Coffee for a while now, you know that the paid side and the unpaid side, they do dine at different tables, and not just for Google, but for all ad systems if they want to not have their butts handed to them by Google. And the panel said, "Oh, sure, it'll be amazing for your SEO." I'm like, oh, really? So I would say if you want to get your SEO in good condition, skip conferences, because clearly the people who are presenting, by and large, at least at the ones I've been to recently, don't have up-to-date stuff. I mean, there's slides where you're like 3 years old, like 3-year-old screenshots. And instead, stay tuned to marketing podcasts like Marketing Over Coffee.
Yeah, there is a ton to be said, isn't there, for, this format of, you're hearing about stuff that's happening this week or in the last 2 weeks, because yeah, there are so many people that have stump speeches that they want to ride for 2 or 3 years. And yeah, I saw just a random stat about growth hacking saying that, a growth hack works incredibly and changes the game for the first guy that does it, and it works amazingly for the first 100,
Yep.
and then it maybe moves the needle for the 1,000 after that, and then the stuff burns out. So and then of course, there's always no substitute for just doing good content that people like, as opposed to just trying to rig the game all the time.
Yeah, and here's the thing about like all these growth hacks and stuff like that. If you're hearing about it at a conference, it means it doesn't work anymore.
It's too late if you're already at this show. Yeah, all right. So I will let slip with this for our most cherished listeners, the folks that listen closely every week and hear the story, because we're ways out. But we are thinking about doing a private invite-only event in 2016. It's still kind of on the calendar as a maybe, and of course, we also depend on our sponsors to be able to fund these what boondoggles or whatever you want to call them. But to get a chance to share some inside tips and to get this stuff shared, amongst people who have only tested it out on a short list, as opposed to going to these shows, where there's 50,000 people and it's already been around for 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like I know there's like all these really interesting affiliate conferences, and they're totally like, and this tip grew my affiliate business 3 years ago, and we're like, yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, and there's been 3 years of the rest of the universe pounding out. Yeah, the affiliate, and that's funny. That's where we've kind of swiped this from. Those affiliate shows, they have these shows where it's like 10 grand to go, and you meet with 30 people only, and they're totally sharing all the inside stuff that nobody else sees for another year or so. And that's the kind of thing that we want to get into. Okay, actually, I should mention this time too, as you're talking about upgrading and doing, getting into the 21st century here, you can accelerate key elements of your sales and marketing processes by securely e-signing with NitroCloud on any computer, phone, or tablet. Whether you manage invoices, quotes, purchase orders, or contract approvals, replacing the friction of time-consuming paper-based processes like printing, scanning, and faxing with NitroCloud e-signatures lets your teams fast-track sales agreements, respond to questions or requests in real time, and ultimately delight your customers by making it easy to do business with you. You can sign up for a free team demo of NitroCloud at www.gonitro.com/MOC. You'll be entered to win a free pair of QC25 Bose noise-canceling headphones, which I am having a hard time saying Bose today for some reason. But we'd like to thank those folks for their support of the show. NitroCloud has been good to us this quarter. We're glad to have them on board. And take a shot at some great headphones for traveling. If you spend any time on a plane, you want to get a set of those. So check that out there. You had Facebook Next of Kin. That sounds grim.
It is grim, but in Facebook they announced recently you can appoint a new a person to take over your account in the case the chance that you die. So they can post like a status message update and let people know, hey, this person is no longer with us. So we'll see. You may want to take a look at it, try and get it set up for yourself. But I also foresee the potential for some enormous pranks with this too. Your friends may not be as reliable as you think.
Yeah, I know, and that's something too that we have to say to everybody. Before you post, take a second and think about the legacy that you're leaving now. If people are expecting it to go beyond your lifespan, think about that. There's a great article in the New York Times about the lady that did that tweet about AIDS in Africa last year, who immediately got fired, and the article goes in depth into kind of what happens to these people that are in these firestorms. And there's an even more amazing one about a guy who cracked a joke about dongle. Anybody who's been in tech more than 10 years, there used to be a big thing about dongles, which were, on your laptop, you would have to have all these proprietary connectors and cords, and the joke was, you'd have this cord and your buddies would steal it because they had lost theirs traveling and render your laptop inoperable. But so this lady took a picture of a guy who told this joke, and as it ran, actually both of them ended up getting fired. The first guy got fired for making the joke, and then in retribution, just the internet came back and fired off denial of service attacks on the person who posted it, and she ended up getting fired too because of it. So everybody, it was a complete nuclear option out of just sharing text on, people tweeting kind of out of school and picking fights. So Yeah, I don't know. Any advice on that front as far as avoiding the firestorm? I mean, it seems like just don't be a jerk is always the easy answer to that. But anything else you'd prescribe?
The big thing, and we advise this on the PR side, is have your core values written out. And for those who are watching the video feed, we put them on mouse pads and stuff, and it's just a simple checklist. Like if you're posting something and instinctively like, I wonder if this is okay, look at your core values. If it doesn't line up with them, don't do it. In fact, if the question mentally appears in your head, I wonder if I should post this, the answer is no.
Yeah, right. That is the if you feel that nagging doubt somewhere, then yeah, that's what you need to pay more attention to. Yeah, I've heard many of the same discussions by corporate attorneys. If you need to talk to me, we already have a problem.
Exactly.
Talk to me, we're in trouble. So, all right, let's see. We had on Twitter, Rachel was asking about small business research. She was looking for any tips for small businesses, B2B and B2C, about measuring customer satisfaction, prospecting, and product marketing. Of course, SurveyMonkey always comes up quick on the list as far as quick and easy, dirty tool to get in there. How about anything else that you're using on any of those fronts as far as gathering data?
Google Spreadsheets is super easy to use. It's totally free. You deploy your survey and you ask people in your audience. Another one that's really good, Google Consumer Surveys has the ability for you to create a custom survey for your website at a penny per response. So it pops up a little box in the corner of your website when somebody says, hey, can we ask you a couple of survey questions or whatever? And, what's your how did you hear about us? What's your intent to purchase our products and things? And it provides you a pretty decent reporting interface, but like I said, a penny a response. If you can take one Starbucks and fund your surveying efforts for the entire month, so it's well worth your time. You should definitely sign up for that and do that.
Oh, all right. So, and if you want to see Google Forms in action, I've got a link to the MOC Awards nomination form, which is going to be closing probably in the next week. I've said for the last 2 or 3 weeks it's going to be closing, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it. And we have actually gotten more nominations in, so we will eventually be closing the door on that. But when you get the email newsletter, click through, and don't be afraid to throw yourself in for a little free pub there before the bell finally rings. Social net earnings. You have numbers, of course, coming out. I saw HubSpot with some huge numbers for the quarter. They had great news to report. How about on the front of the other networks?
So the other networks, LinkedIn really ramped up its monetization. They're finally starting to get the business stuff in order, so that's good. Twitter also a win on the monetization front, not so much on the user growth front. They're kind of stalled out there, but they went from they just crossed the $2 per user share number. And of course, Facebook, now the largest social network on the planet, larger than any nation on the planet. It is its own juggernaut. So no surprise there that they're also cranking the money out. But all the networks really had a great Q4. They made a heck of a lot of money on us. So I don't know how we should feel about that, but I will say that if you're looking to market on social, it really has become just a pay-to-play world.
Yeah, no, that's completely the way to go. There's no doubt about that. If you want to get any forced traction, you've got to pony up some bucks. The free ride is long gone.
Oh yeah, the free ride has been over for quite a while.
How about cohort analysis? You had that on the list. What's up with that?
So this is a brand new feature from Google Analytics that is built in. They're rolling it out across all accounts, and it's really kind of cool. So what it allows you to do is track cohorts. A cohort is nothing more than a group of people that have something in common. Right now, the first ability in cohort analysis is by acquisition date. So you could, for example, say, everybody who came to my website in November, how do they differ from everybody who came to my website in December? If you're a retail outlet, obviously you're going to see a difference in the November shoppers versus the December shoppers. And then you can do analysis on those groups of people to say, do these people come back more? Do they convert more? Do they buy more? And it's a really terrific, simple way of analyzing users, analyzing the people who are visiting your digital properties. It's easy. It's built in, so it's already on. If you have not upgraded to Universal Analytics, you really missed the boat. That was last year, so make sure that you do that and get that going. But then dig into cohort analysis. It's under the audience tab, and just play around with it. It's a lot of fun. Actually, I'm sorry, it's under the acquisition tab. It's a lot of fun because you'll see there will be some weeks where people who came into the website that week just stick around a lot more. Like they keep coming back over and over again. In fact, let's see if I can pull up the Marketing Over Coffee analytics here, and we can take a quick look at our cohorts. Let's see. Marketing Over Coffee. Our cohort analysis. No, I'm sorry, it is in the audience tab. So if we look at, let's see if I can turn on my Google Plus screen share here. Which button is that? There we go. Screen 1. So here we are in Google Analytics. We can see analysis. Close out of my alerts here. And this is acquisition by day and user retention over the last 7 days. I'm going to boost this up to 30 days here. So for the Marketing Over Coffee website, what days? Like there's some outliers. What made the people who came into the website on January 24th, why are they sticking around so much on January 25th? See, that whole line is much longer than some of these other lines, which are just kind of light gray. So we can analyze these people by day. We can also do it by week and get a real sense for there are some audiences that are better than others. And this is definitely something that you want to do for your business to understand if there's any seasonality in your business. This is a way to dig it out.
That's great. Yeah, that's, obviously for us, we have things like when shows drop, or when you get Seth Godin mentions you on his blog, that blows all the numbers out of the water. But yeah, it's interesting to be able to group and get some actionable learning out of that kind of stuff, especially when you can tie it over to conversions too, so you can see where it goes. That's huge.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We do have to mention that at Marketing Over Coffee, we know firsthand that when you're starting a new business, finding a place to get your logo design can be a challenge. Sure, your cousin Eddie can offer to help out, but we know how uncomfortable that can get. And at a certain stage in the game, you may not have the funds to hire an agency. We've discovered an easy way to get going. It's called 99 Designs, the world's largest online marketplace for graphic design. Here's how it works. You start by telling them what you need in a simple online brief. Then designers from around the world begin submitting designs, and you provide them with feedback to refine the concepts. In just 7 days, you get to pick your favorite design and start using it right away. If you're launching a new company, 99 Designs is your answer for quality graphic design at an affordable price. Right now, when you start your next design product, Right now, when you start your next design project at 99designs.com/MOC, you'll get $99 upgrade added on for free, and that's a special. Actually, for this link only in the newsletter, you get an additional 30 off of that also, so I'll throw that in the newsletter. You can check that out. But thanks to 99 Designs for their help this quarter and underwriting the expense of the show. We appreciate it. So
and hey, if that design doesn't work out and your cohort analysis drops, buy another one.
That's, yeah, with that price level, you basically can, and it's A/B testing, all that kind of stuff. If you just need a ton of stuff to get a stake in the ground to start testing and start working things, you really can't beat that price. It's the way to go. We had some comments. Actually, the Marketing Over Coffee limited edition Sharpie. We've had a couple of requests for that out there. So, as again with last year when we do the Marketing Over Coffee Awards, I'll do a short run of those, and we will see if we can, of course, award winners get hooked up with them, and I'm sure we'll have a few extra in the bag to throw out for listeners. So,
cool.
How about with the Marketing Bluebell? We had pushed that last time you were on the show. Anything interesting to report on that as far as how it's been received or on promotions? Anything that's working?
Here's what's interesting. You are much better off working with your influencers than you are shoveling money into an ad system. At least for something like this, that has really been the high watermark, are the people like the show and some close friends like Mark Schaefer and Mitch Joel and Scott Monty. That personal referral makes all the difference in the world. Yeah,
isn't that? If you're fortunate enough to know some folks like that who have accumulated huge audiences over the years, there's no substitute for a personal stamp of approval. That will definitely drive traffic for you, and is a great way to go with that. Let's see. Oh, if you're over on Stitcher, listening to us on Stitcher, please throw us a review. We'd appreciate that. We've had a lot of traffic from Stitcher lately, so we're just kind of looking to continue to drive that and keep the audience growing, which makes life easier for everybody involved with the show and allows us to get you more quality content. How about, so you've done the San Francisco tour. What else have you got going in the next couple weeks?
So in the next couple weeks, I will be in New York City at some point relatively soon for agency business, and I will be in San Diego at the end of March for Mike Stelzner's Social Media Marketing World. So I'll be speaking there. Looking forward to a great time. I'm actually going to be part of the main stage keynote panel. Mark Schaefer will be moderating a panel between Mari Smith, who's like all engagement, Guy Kawasaki, who's like all content, and then me being the grumpy analytics guy going, what the?
That's right. You'll be
So
the reality chick delivering the smackdown, I'm sure.
exactly. So it's going to be a fun, a dynamic, possibly a slightly pointed panel, but it should be more than anything, it should be great fun.
Yeah, no, that will be great. Mark knows how to play the game, and he knows controversy drives panels instead of these everybody agreeing with everyone love fest that everybody sits and tweets and does other work when they're going. So
Exactly. I think my catchphrase for that event is going to be "Show me the data."
just get a shirt. You'll have to wear it. All right, let me see. That, I think, is everything we had on the rundown for this week, so that's going to do it for us. Be sure to swing on over to the LinkedIn group. We've got a lot of discussion going on there all the time, and, of course, the email newsletter will get you these links in your inbox so you don't have to remember them. And that will do it for this week. So until next week, enjoy the coffee.
Enjoy the coffee.